Micah Rubin is in the building. Long overdue.
Long overdue.
Long overdue. I feel like for our entire friendship, we've had sort of like mini interviews and conversations, but to do one formally where I get to really learn about you in this way, I'm very excited.
Well, the good thing is there's no alcohol inducing in this conversation. I feel like we need a bottle of tequila here.
Why did I wear white?
I mean, let's go.
I know, it's the white party always with us. But this is going to be so great. You know, I have seen you be excited about a lot of things, but you are excited about Fanatics Fest. What is doing this, like bringing out of you?
You know, first, I love bringing people together. It's what, like, I suck at a lot of things, but bringing people together is something you're pretty great at and I'm pretty good at. Fanatics Fest is about how do we bring the best athletes in the world, a couple hundred of them, tens of thousands of the most amazing sports fans in the world, and create something that's never been done. Like, it's crazy when I think about, we've been to Coachella together, we've been to, South by Southwest, I've been to, Comic-Con, and all these things, you have these incredible, in other industries, you have these incredible different shows, and in sports, there's nothing. And so, to me, when I kind of came out of Comic-Con, been to these different music festivals, I'm like, why don't we have this for sports? And that's when the idea came to create Fanatics Fest. So, doing it in New York City, in the city I spent a lot of time in I think what's the best city in the world, to bring, we hope 100,000 sports fans together, and just so many incredible sports properties, athletes. I think it's an incredible opportunity, and hopefully we start something massive that you have these in all the big cities in the world. So why not have this in China or Tokyo or Brazil or London or Germany or Los Angeles? So I think it's just starting something that's really big and important.
Yeah. And see, that's what I love about it, because this event is actually something that was a white space. Nothing like this exists anywhere. When you think about the success of things like Comic-Con or BeautyCon, it really does make you think, how has this not happened? Why do you think that is?
Well, it's crazy. I grew up as a card collector, trading card collector. And I remember as a kid going to trading card shows all the time. My dad would take me, and I'd go on different weekends. And 3 years ago, when we got in the trading card business, I went to the big national trading card show. And there was one reaction I had, which is just like, oh my God, there's 150,000 collectors here. Like, what an incredible industry. My other reaction was the card show didn't look so different than when I was like 8 or 10 years old, a few decades ago. Actually, maybe even more than a few decades ago. And so
we won't tell anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, although maybe like 4 decades ago or something. So for me, that's what screamed, we need something great. We need something that's truly experiential, like you have with Comic-Con or the different music festivals or South by Southwest. So I don't know why it's never been done before. I think maybe because sports fans are so incredibly passionate, and they're passionate about their teams and their players. Just no one ever thought to do this. I also don't think there's another company that could pull this off, because you need to have relationships with so many different athletes, sports properties, to really pull something like this together. It's a big undertaking.
Yeah, I was really thinking in my head why this hasn't existed, and I wonder if it's because, unlike something like beauty or comics, sports fans up to this point have felt like the convention is the game. So you think that you're going to something where you are able to be around a lot of sports fans, but it's not like this, where you're getting unprecedented access. You get to hear them talk. You have amazing panels. Collectors will unite. You can get autographs. Everything is happening at Fanatics Fest. So I'm genuinely very excited. I'll be there all 3 days.
I
locked
can't wait.
in.
It's going to be a blast. The most incredible thing is all the different athletes that are coming out to support this. And the one thing that I always see is when you talk about it's about the game. That's really what it's about. But then you don't get to really learn about these people as individuals, learn about what drives them, learn about what makes them, really accomplish what they accomplish. I think for me, when I look at just 200 of the best athletes in the world, from, in basketball, KD and Ant and Allen Iverson and Julius Erving and Paul Pierce and just so many, Jalen Brunson and the whole, big Knicks contingent, to in football to have Brady and Peyton and Eli, and then you just go sport by sport, and, Derek Jeter in baseball. I looked at this list. It was like, 200 incredible athletes. By the way, WWE coming out in a big way, UFC coming in a big way. It's like there's something for everybody. But then even like to have Jay-Z involved with this and Travis Scott involved with this, and Jay called a few weeks ago. He's like, hey, I want to do a pop-up with the 40/40 and bring my sports bar back, and let's do this to take care of the 200 athletes that come through, to give them a place to go and hang with their families, and for the most important Fanatics, VIP gamblers. And I was like, wow, that's such an amazing idea. So it's like there's so many different things to do here, and of course, I'll get myself in some terrible athletic competitions where, of course, I embarrass
Oh, yeah,
myself.
I heard that we'll be throwing a baseball. That's one of the
How do you
activations.
think that looked? Did you think my pitch looked good? I mean,
What are the mechanics of the pitch? I'm just curious.
well,
When you went up there.
you have to think about accuracy or speed, and I chose speed, and so with the speed, the accuracy was very off.
Like, you can't have both.
Now, the same thing you got to understand with me, I love to embarrass myself and
Yeah.
make fun of myself. That's what makes me who I am.
Totally.
And so there were probably better videos, but I just took the worst moments. And everyone's like, how would you actually show that? I'm like, how would I not show that? They're so amazing. They were so pathetic.
Genuine question. Which thing, though, do you think you would do best? Would it be throwing the baseball? Would it be catching the football? Would it be shooting a three-point? Like, of all the things, what's the one you're like, oh, athletically, I could at least do that one the best?
My bet, all of them I would be terrible at.
Okay.
But if I had to pick the one that I was least terrible at, it would
Yeah.
be catching the football.
Okay. Yeah, we saw you. We saw you on the
I
beach.
had that
Yeah.
moment last year, not this year. Last year when CJ threw the pass to me and Odell was actually guarding me and legitimately didn't want me to catch the ball, and I caught it. It was the most athletic thing I've ever done in
yeah.
my life.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I brought the football to my office just last week because it's right there. It says, to Rube, the most athletic thing you've ever done, CJ. It's a good, for me, I need a reminder that I did have one athletic moment in my life.
Yeah, and you can always look at this and say, CJ Stroud told me. Basically, I could be on the Texans if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be as a ball boy or like someone to bring equipment and help.
I want to go into that flag football game really quickly that you had on the beach.
That we lost.
Yes, that you lost. How does this start? I know that Tom Brady and CJ Stroud were the captains. Who got picked first? Who got picked last? Take me into it.
Well, I think the mistake that happened was Tommy picked me first out of loyalty.
What a friend. Wow.
Correct. And that's where he went wrong. That's why we actually lost 4-5. Had he actually picked me last like I was used to being picked in my life, then we probably would have won. But how did it start? We were just like, someone was talking about playing football, and Tommy was there and CJ was there, and last year we played with CJ. I'm like, okay, we got to play, and everyone was getting very excited very quickly. Were you there yet, or you weren't there
No,
yet?
remember, I came the next day.
Right, you missed it. I would have needed you on my team to help. For
I'd
sure.
commentate the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. It was amazing because it was so, like when you see the teams you had Tommy, you had myself on our team, you had Trav, you had Odell and Micah Parsons, and then on the other team you had DeMar, CJ. What I didn't realize was that for CJ and for DeMar, they're like, we're fucking playing Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Like, we ain't playing, like, you guys are having fun. We're coming to kill. Like, DeMar's like, wait, I just picked off Tom Brady. I picked off Tom Brady. He was so excited.
Yeah.
So I think we were still like, we were there to have fun. I mean, Tom always wants to win in everything he does.
Yeah.
But I think the other team was like, this is our chance to actually beat Tom Brady. So I should have gone back to CJ where I had a winning moment the year before.
Yeah, but see, that's what I was going to ask. Like, for someone like Tom Brady, if he loses, even if it's just 4-5, is he still a little mad that he lost?
No, very mad. He was very mad.
Really?
Yeah, so I was also very mad too because I thought we were going to win.
Yeah.
And we started strong with Trav catching a touchdown right away, and then it went downhill quickly.
And you were the franchise pick. So,
Which was the mistake. That's when like you draft somebody wrong. Tom drafted me as the first pick was a gigantic error.
Well, speaking of Tom Brady, he's going to be at Fanatics Fest
He will,
in
absolutely.
conversation with Stephen A. Smith. That's going to be amazing. And it's one of the things I like so much about the event is it's not just panels. Like, we're having real conversations and real moments. The Tom Brady, Stephen A. one. You had the New York Knicks panel. The question I want to ask you, though, you know a lot of different people. You know what a lot of different stories. In like a dream hypothetical world, who are two people or a group of people you would love to see in conversation about something specific?
Well, first of all, I want it to happen at Fanatics Fest.
Yes, it will happen at Fanatics Fest next year.
I think you want to break news, so you want interesting things to happen. I don't know if we announced this yet. I'm looking to my left, but like we might have a couple boxers that could be doing a press conference together, and like you want interesting things to happen there. You might have news that breaks in sports that are coming. So for us, we really work hard to get incredible people there for the things like the panelists, but also like Brady's gonna take a half an hour and throw passes to kids, which is like think about you're a 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old, you get to catch a pass from Tom Brady. That's insane. Totally. So like we're going to create lots of, I'd say, viral moments there as well.
Yeah. So I'll say,
and I'll create the only bad ones, and then everyone else will create the good ones.
This would be like probably nearly impossible, but what I would love to see at a Fanatics Fest in the future is Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I want to see them have that conversation.
Yeah. And by the way, our goal is to make all of the great conversations like that happen.
Yeah.
That's not one that's going to happen this year. But, look, both those guys are so interesting in each of their own way. So of course you want anything like that to happen. And we got more coming. I mean, what we've announced so far is super exciting, but we've got a bunch more that haven't been announced. We're going to keep adding them between now and when we kick off.
Yeah. In terms of Fanatics and what you ultimately want Fanatics to be, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is the end goal in your head. Where do you feel like Fanatics is right now?
0.5.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just getting started. I mean, this is, I say to people all the time, people are like, why do you work 17 hours a day? Why do you do this? Why are you nonstop? All you're doing is working. Because I have the funnest job in the world. Like, this is like, to work around so many incredible athletes, to work around so many incredible team owners, to work around, to work at the service of hundreds of millions of sports fans. Like, it's an honor to do what I do. But I think we're just getting started. I mean, I only really started this business in 2011. And, I plan to do the rest of my life. So, I'm going to do it hopefully another 40, 50 years or longer, depending on the new drugs that are coming to keep us alive as long as possible. And, I think in a lot of ways, we've just entered the online sports betting and iGaming space last September. We only got in the trading card and collectibles space 2.5 years ago. And we only got in the merchandise business 13 years ago. And in a lot of ways, as much as we've accomplished, we're just getting started. And there's so many things that we need to be better at. There's so many things that we need to, just kind of like relentlessly innovate for the sports fan. And so I think we've just barely begun. I think we're literally not even in the first inning.
Does your mind ever rest?
No.
Like, genuinely, it's never resting?
Like, last night I slept 4 hours and 33 minutes per the Whoop that measures my sleep.
Yeah.
And I woke up like 5 different times. When I wake up, I'm always thinking about different things that I need to do. That's the way my brain works. I wish I could shut it off. Like, I was literally in bed trying to fall back asleep, like wishing, how do I get an on-off switch on my brain, which is impossible.
Really?
Yes.
So when you are looking to be relaxed, when you are looking to have some level of clear mind, how do you do it?
Well, I don't think I'm ever relaxed. It's not my personality. Yeah. And the only thing I do that's a new habit I've created to try to get a little bit of a clearer mind is I'll put my phone down for like a half an hour to an hour a day. Generally, like if I'm doing something with my daughter, if I'm doing something with Camille, because I feel like I'm so glued to communication that it kind of clutters your brain. And so if you just leave your phone, you don't have the, like, you always want to look. And so that's the one thing I've learned to do of late. And I think it has been really good for me. But when you talk about like work-life balance, when you talk about like normal things, I'm not the right person to ask these questions to.
Yeah, you're like, I'm go.
Yeah, I'm just.
But it's interesting though, because sometimes I feel like that might be how you have to be.
I think every business is different because we have 3 completely different businesses. We have the business we started in, Fanatics Commerce, which is now, it's the leading, sports, licensed merchandise company. It's about a little bit more than a $6 billion business. But there's so many things that we're reinventing that business. So many things we need to do to be better. So many things to enhance the consumer experience. Then you think about, we only got in the trading card business 3 years ago, and again, online sports betting less than a year ago. There's so much we need to do. And so I feel like, the competition's never resting. And I feel like, I'm a pretty paranoid CEO by my nature. And so we have to be on top of everything all the time or someone's going to try to get ahead of us.
Yeah. Something I've been thinking a lot about recently are the different ways that people are known. To you, what do you think is the difference between fame, influence, and power? Because they are 3 vastly different things.
Yeah, I think influence is the most important of the 3, because I think if you can help influence good outcomes, that's a really special thing. And for me, so many things I do are behind the scenes, helping to do things, helping to try to make a difference. And so I think I actually think being business, if I'm just blunt, I say this to my daughter all the time. If you're a big celebrity, athlete, artist, obviously you're lucky to be in that situation, but there's so many difficult things that come with that. Being business successful is actually, I think, the best thing, because you have a lot of the benefits without, I think, some of the difficult things that go with it. And so for me, I love to be able to make a difference in anything I do, help people in anything I do. And so I think influence is the one that I care the most about. Power, I think the more success you have, probably in a lot of ways you care less about it. And, if there's one thing I've definitely learned in the last year or two, the more well-known you get, the more people come for you as well. That's just, and that's a good thing. You should be happy about that. Like, that means you're doing well, that, people are paying more attention, but it's definitely not straight up or all easy.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because of all of those, I would say fame is the easiest to get. Why do you think influence is the hardest to gain?
Because influence, I think you're right. Fame can come in different ways. And, I'm not someone who could really speak about that. But I think, if I look at a lot of people that we're each friends with, that can come from athletic skills. That can come from, being a social media influencer. That can come from, just some silly thing. Who knows how fame comes? Influence is being able to really impact people. And I'd say for me, where I feel that I'm really fortunate is, I'm always bringing people from different backgrounds together. By the way, you're exactly the same way. And we all learn from each other. But if I can help to influence a good outcome for somebody, that's an amazing honor for me to do. And I love that. And so I think I always want to figure out how I can, have the most impact through influence. And maybe I've learned a lot about that through, a good friend of mine who everyone knows about was Robert Kraft, who he's very good at influencing things. So I think I've learned a lot from him about how to influence others.
Yeah.
And how to do it in the right way, by the way.
Yeah. Another one, too, I would say Travis Scott is probably one of the most influential people of my generation. What has he taught you about what it means to actually influence?
Well, the first thing I'll tell you about Travis that's amazing is everything he does is authentic. And that's not the case for a lot of people. I went to his show in London 2 weeks ago. When I was going there, my schedule's crazy to just go over to London for, 16, 18 hours. It seemed like just a lot versus my normal business routine. I ended up having the time of my life just because watching how much he loves what he does, watching how much he loves connecting with his fans, it actually gives me ideas at Fanatics about how we can better connect with our fans and the responsibility we have. So I'd say, Trav is truly an extraordinary individual. And what's fascinating for me is when I first got to know him, I got to know him a little bit through James Harden, a long time ago. And we'd meet, but we were never, really friendly. And then maybe 4 years ago, he said, hey, come by my crib when you're in LA. And I ended up spending 3 or 4 hours with him. He was telling me about all the different things he's doing in consumer products and the collaboration he did with McDonald's and what he's doing with Nike and what he's going to do with Dior and what he's doing with all these different things. And I watched how incredible of a product creator he is and how much he knows his fan base and how he won't do anything that's not perfectly authentic for his fan base. So I do learn a lot from him. Even the plane rides we've been on together, we're always learning from each other. And look, I'm always trying to help him and push him on things and he's pushing me. And I think, you see the fun side of me. People see I have 10 fun nights a year. You probably had all 10 of them. Okay. But,
I see the other nights too, right, where you are really just working.
Right. I'm grinding away. And Trav's a grinder at work and he's a grinder at his craft. So it's been a real privilege for me to, have a, close, seat to just see all the great things he's doing because we're definitely all learning from each other.
What is something, just in the same vein, what is something that you would only understand about Tom Brady by being friends with him?
That is the easiest question that anybody's ever asked me.
Okay.
Tom Brady's success has all come from his work ethic. It's not I don't think he was born with those, the most athletic person in the planet. He has a work ethic and a drive that I think makes me look lazy. He's generally texting me or I'm texting him. It's got a 5 in front of it in the morning time. He hit me last week at 4 a.m., okay? He's up and he's grinding. He's pushing on things. And whatever he's doing, he's working his ass off to make sure he gets the right outcome. And he leaves nothing to chance. So I didn't really, when he played football, I knew him, but not the way I know him now. We're much closer in the last few years. I can tell you his work ethic is better than just about anyone I've ever met. And that's why he has the success he has. The other thing I would tell you is his leadership is amazing. The way he brings people together. That is not common of a lot of athletes. You and I know a lot of people who are incredible athletes, but they're not great leaders. Okay. Tom Brady is an incredible leader with the best work ethic in the planet.
And that was what led to his success.
100%. Yeah. I don't know how you'd rank him athletically. He's in incredible shape, but do I think he's the most athletic person relative to, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Do I think that
relative to other quarterbacks?
Do I think if you put him in quarterbacks today, I think he's got the best work ethic of anybody. And I think he's got the best leadership of anybody. And I think even listening to him, because we do each year, he comes to my house for a rookie premiere, and we meet with the Fanatics exclusive athletes. And, this year we did it with Tommy and Jay-Z. The year before it was Tommy and Trav. And we're trying to, and it's mostly, Tom is obviously, for football players, the most interesting part for these guys to learn from. But they're getting so many lessons, whether it was Jay or Trav or whether it was Tommy. And watching how he talked about being in the locker room and making sure when people said, hey, you're Tom Brady, what music do you want? He says, don't pick, what music do you guys want? Because I want to bring you guys together. It's just every little nuance he has to make sure that he's going to create a culture of people coming together versus like the divisiveness that you can have that can kind of tear teams apart.
Do you think you can teach work ethic?
I think it's hard to teach it, but I think people over time, when they don't have the work ethic and then don't get the results, maybe get the work ethic over time. Mm-hmm. But I think one of my best skill sets, I was born with the work ethic. Tom Brady was born with the work ethic. By the way, Travis Scott, born with the work ethic. Mm-hmm. A lot of the people I know that have been the most successful have been born with the work ethic.
Yeah.
And I will outwork anybody, and I will out-hustle anybody.
For sure. Out-hustle anybody, anywhere except the football field.
Well, but I'll tell you one thing. I gave that thing every fucking thing I had.
Actually, I was out-hustling.
Relative to my age, my strength, my body weight, I gave the best hustle of anybody out there.
Yeah, I believe it.
It wasn't worth a lot, but I gave it my best.
Every Super Bowl, you have this amazing, deeply exclusive luncheon. You have like 100 of the world's most powerful execs of the world's most powerful companies. And when you see this room, it's truly wild, just the people that are there. And I'm curious, during that luncheon, what is the best business idea or best connection that ended up being significant that came from just attending your luncheon?
Well, first, bring this back to I love bringing people together. Mm-hmm. So whether it's the white party, whether it's the Super Bowl luncheon, whether it's different things that I do, whether it's Fanatics Fest, I love bringing people of different backgrounds together. I think it's, again, there's lots of things. I was born with no athletic abilities. I was born with no scholastic abilities. I was born with the skill set of being able to bring people together. So I think there are a lot of great things that come out of all of these. That lunch, one of the secrets I've learned that people generally don't understand, I was just having this conversation with a very well-known person last week, and like, how do you make the white party so special? And they actually brought up the Super Bowl lunch. I said, because the one thing I'm always comfortable to do is make sure I keep each thing I do very tight and very curated and make sure that each person in there is special in their own way, whether they're special to us, whether it's a special relationship, whether it's special in what they bring to the table. And then you have lots of kind of mixing. Like, if you take the white party last year, everyone talks about the athletes or the celebrities that were there, but think about the iconic business people you had, the CEO of Verizon, the CEO of Uber, you had the CEO of Airbnb, you have the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, your employer, and one of your lucky employers. And we're so good at bringing different people together, and what happens is great business deals come from that. So I'm always hearing about, hey, I met somebody at the white party. People have changed, managements that have happened at the white party. Like a lot of things come out of that, and the same thing for the Super Bowl lunch. The Super Bowl lunch is one that's a little more under the radar. It's last year
wild.
We had 138 people last year, and everyone in there, from the owners of the NFL teams to the big CEOs of the company. But then we kind of make it a little more interesting and sexy with bringing some of the best athletes and stars in there to make sure you go from The Rock and Kevin Hart to Tom Brady and your buddy Joe Burrow to, and it's just a great mix together. And, we always try to set it up. Like, I'll sit there and go through a seating chart before to make sure that, hey, you know what? Last year, I want Travis Scott to meet the CEO of Verizon. I put the two of them next to each other, okay? Because in my mind, what could Travis Scott do for Verizon? What could Verizon do for Travis Scott? Like, we're thinking about those details. That goes into these things. It's not just you put people in a room and hope good shit happens. You actually, you're very thoughtfully putting these things together.
And I know it's probably not top of your mind because I know this isn't how you think about those things in terms of, okay, what was my exact impact? But I'm sure, like, just being in that luncheon has probably impacted us in ways we don't even realize, just based on ideas that have come out of it.
Look, I always think I'm so lucky to have so many great people around and we all learn from each other. So I'm never one that's keeping score. I hate people that keep score. Like, I'm one who just wants to, and you're exactly the same way. You're like, whatever I need, just tell me. Yeah. And right back at you. And I think that's my mentality to life. And I think if you do that, great things come. I think people who try to keep score often lose in a business setting versus people just do the right thing. I think great outcomes come.
Yeah. What do you think, and I'm sure you've gotten this question in a variety of ways, what do you think it is about you?
Well, I think a lot of people that are successful financially are, they're generally incredibly smart and probably less so on the personality.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite, right? I'm higher on personality and less so. Like, look, people don't believe me when I say this, and I say it all the time. I legitimately got a 780 on my SATs combined, okay? It's hard to do that poorly on your SATs.
Yeah, I didn't even really know you could do that.
And by the way, you get 400 for putting your name on it. I got
yeah.
a 670 the first time and a 780 the second time. And I grew up with my mom telling me every learning disability I had. I had someone to help me with all of my disabilities I had, but they weren't actually disabilities. They were actually motivators for me because I was always told what I couldn't do. And you know what that did? It gave me more motivation. And so, yeah, I sucked at sports. And yeah, I sucked at school. But you know what I did? I found out I was a really good worker. So I started businesses when I was a kid. I started hustling when I was 8 years old. By the time I was 12 years old, I owned, had a ski shop. And, I almost went bankrupt by the time I was 16. So I got, you gravitate to what you're good at. And so going back to the question you asked, which is what makes me different, is most really successful business people I know, they're incredibly smart. They're incredibly good at what they do, but they're less comfortable on they're just look a lot. You would tell me, but if you looked at the top 1,000 most successful people financially in the country, they'd be some of the least comfortable people to have this type of conversation.
Yeah, you might not want to hang out with them. Yeah. But you, I think, on top of that though, is you are genuinely always there for your friends when they need you. You are a person who shows up, and I think even above it, you being fun and you being personable, it's that you are a very, very, very good friend. So you shouldn't sell yourself short on that.
I agree. I also think I feel like my friends are there for me and I'm there for my friends and we're there for each other. And I'm lucky to be in that situation. And so this point in my life, I'm not trying to figure out how to, make the next buck. I'm trying to figure out how to be really excited about what I'm doing. How do I, keep that passion that I have? Like at the end of the day, what's going to keep me young forever is going to be having the passion that I have today. Okay. And so that's what drives me. So I like that I can't sleep well because I'm always thinking about different ththings that I want to do because I'm always excited. Like when I go to bed, I'm generally exhausted from what I did during that day. But when I wake up multiple times during the night, I'm anxious for it to say 5 a.m. or 4:30 a.m. so I can get out of bed and just start grinding again. And I like doing that. So I think I'm generally lucky in what I'm doing. So yes, I do try to be a good friend to everybody around me and do the best I can do. But I'm also lucky they're great friends to me.
For sure. I was watching your episode of The Shop, and you were on there with Robert Kraft. And there's a point in the episode where Robert Kraft takes a card out of his wallet that he carries around with him. And the card says, jealousy and envy are incurable diseases. And it's the one time it's better to be a recipient than a donor. Do you have one?
He gave it to me that day.
And it says it's an RKKism.
It's
it's great.
By the way, how do you like that? This was not a setup.
Wow.
I want to give it to you now, actually.
It's
been in my wallet for about a year, and I'm now passing it on to my partner in crime here.
I am so honored. And because I thought this was such a great moment in the show. That he has these cards. That means that this has meant something to him for his life. Like this slogan.
He's a guy who more than anybody just wants to help people and do the right thing. And I've learned so much from him in my life. Like, if I think about there's been so many people that have impacted me, and each person's in a different way. We've talked about, you could talk about work ethic with Brady. You could talk about how much I learned about connecting with your fans and work ethic from Trav. But then, Robert's taught me how sometimes to not always be so harsh, to, take it down a notch, to, make sure I'm thinking long-term in everything I'm doing. So he's been such an incredible force in my life.
Yeah. And you kept the card. So I know that that's true.
But now I've given it to you. So I'm going to check to make sure this is with you in a year or two.
I will hold it dear, near and dear. What would your card say?
Love every minute of the day for everything you do. Outwork your competition. Enjoy the moment.
Yeah. That's what you've lived by.
Yeah.
Does business feel like a sport to you?
100%.
In what ways?
Well, first of all, it's a sport that I excel at, and you like to do what you're good at. it's a sport where I think you're more fortunate than in professional sports. Eventually you age out of them. In business, I don't think you age out of it. So I'm in a sport where I can do this for the rest of my life.
I also think you could argue business is a sport where you get better with age.
I think I could think about how much I've learned this year, and it's incredible to me to think about, some of the things we've been through. And every time we go through something that's tough, we use it to make our company better, to be better for the sports fan. So I want to learn more. Like if I had to go, I'd say each year I want to learn more than I learned the last year. And then I want to be able to have a bigger impact than I had the last year. So I love the sport of business. I've been playing that sport since I've been 8 years old. Mm-hmm. It's the thing that I've always gravitated towards, the thing that I'm good at, and it's the thing that I enjoy with everything I have.
Because I would think that's probably one of the underlying reasons you're also able to connect. Like this is all a sport. It might not be an arena, but you are doing something where you are always actively striving to be the best, or more importantly, be better than whoever else.
Well, I definitely want to be better in all of my competition all the time. And by the way, I think we are more than we're not, but we're not always. And when we're not, we're going to learn from that and then figure out how to be better. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I want to play a little game with you before we finish. We're going to play a game of who's most likely to. Okay? We have some faces. You're going to hold up the answer to the question I asked you. Okay? Who do we got? Name out who we've got for the folks.
Okay. Hold on. We got Drake. He looks good in this picture, by the way.
It's a great photo.
Yeah.
Great photo.
You did him right. We got JoJo.
I got you, Drake.
We got Tommy. We got Trav. He's changing his glasses recently. H and Robert.
Alrighty. Who's most likely to buy back their own trading cards or memorabilia?
Can I plead the fifth on any of these? Who's going to buy back their own trading card or memorabilia?
I'll let you plead the fifth on one. You can plead the fifth on one. None of them are crazy.
Okay. Well, to start with, you can't say anything. Drake's my guy, so I can't say anything negative no matter what. Even if I want to make fun of him and have fun, this is not the time.
You, Drake.
Yeah, we love him. Buy back his card or memorabilia.
Which also buying back isn't like negative. Maybe you just want your stuff. Maybe you're like, listen, I'd like these in my own home.
I think most likely Tommy's a collector. So it's going to be Tommy.
Tommy. Okay.
Yes.
Want to hold it up for us? Tommy?
Yeah, he's legit a collector.
Okay. Who is most likely to leave the white party the latest?
Oh, well,
I know the answer to that one.
Hold on.
Travis.
Well, hold on. No, hold on. It's a competition.
Okay.
It's a competition. Okay, hold on. Well, definitely not him, by the way. He's likely to leave the earliest. Okay. It's a competition between these two.
To leave the latest.
And it's a good competition. Okay?
Yeah.
I would say, actually, by energy, it's Travis. By being nocturnal, it's Drake. Drake is the winner because he's truly nocturnal.
Always awake.
Yes.
Always awake.
Well, he's definitely goes to bed at like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. So he's claiming he goes to bed now at 4 or 5. I'm saying it's Drake.
Okay.
I think Trav won this year, though. He left later.
It's because Travis will be DJing. That's what keeps him going. Yeah.
I've never, one thing I love, and I got to give a little, a little extra info here. The thing about Trav that's so fascinating, so many artists actually don't love to perform. Trav loves to perform.
Yeah.
So this year at the white party, the night before we had the football game, we had the barbecue for 30 people that went from 2 to 7 that ended up being 200 people to 11. And my daughter Kylie said to me like at 11 o'clock, like, Dad, everyone's got to leave. Like, I want to get a good night's sleep tonight. And Travis, like, there's like 20 of us left.
What?
And Travis DJing, and he's having the time of his life because he loves so much of what he does.
I love that. Okay.
So who do I put down now? Because we keep.
Oh, you can repeat
okay,
if you want.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
No
okay.
rules. This is your world.
Okay, perfect.
Most likely to pick up the tab.
Okay, that one's easy.
Aw, what a guy.
Robert, for sure.
What a guy. He's always picking up the tab.
Oh, well, we have I always try to give my credit card when no one's looking, so we're always fighting. It's like who can, sometimes my office or his office, we even call first to try to make sure it's paid for in advance. One of us can't pick the tab up.
Oh,
but
I love
definitely
that.
most likely to try to pick up is Robert.
Okay. Most likely to try to split the bill.
Nobody.
I'm going to tell you who it is. It's Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is most likely to ask to split the bill.
But if he wants to split, by the way, I just, I realized, by the way, that I might have, without looking quickly, I might have looked at Mike and not realized it was Micah for a second.
Yeah. Micah's most likely with the belt. I'll hold it up.
I'm going to say this.
my
I'm going to say
answer.
this, by the way. I think that Micah is most likely to have someone else get the bill.
Yes,
Sorry,
I
buddy.
love Micah, but he is. He's most likely. Okay, most likely to hang with you at the casino. I know that's your jam.
Well, that's the most obvious thing on the planet. Drake. That's the most obvious one in the world. It's not. It's. I'll tell you who's good luck in gambling. This guy.
Good luck.
Joel was good luck. If Joel's like, they build casinos on losers, not winner. I'm definitely a lifetime loser. Joel, very good luck in gambling.
Really?
Yes. If
What
I
makes
gamble,
you say that?
He just has good energy. Well, what makes me say that is the lifetime P&L of gambling with Joel. He's been very good. And if you look, he's come in when I've been like very down and we've left very up. He's got very good energy in the casino.
Really? So the minute he gets in, you're out.
Yeah. If he needed a secondary job, it would be to be my gambling associate / rah-rah cheerleader. He's very good at it.
Oh, I love that. That's so interesting too, because so I don't know Joel that well. I've gotten to know him some more from your events, but I think that the way he has such a nice way about him that I don't know always translates when you're just watching him play basketball. Do you feel that way?
I think that's, look, Joel is, everyone is different. Joel, you see his emotion coming through very much. And so when he's having a great game, you see his excitement. When things aren't going his way, you see that as well.
Yeah.
And so I think who he is as a person individually is different than what you see on the court.
James didn't get picked for anything, which is shocking.
By the way, one of the most misunderstood people in the world is James Harden. Talk about a guy who gets a hard time, who is a great human being. That is James. I love him. He's a real friend, always there for you. By the way, Philly didn't treat him right. When I say Philly, I don't mean the team. I meant more it was a complicated situation. People don't always understand the backstory, but he, came to play in Philly for less money. Wanted to do everything he could to make the team win. Didn't work out. By the way, sucked for all of us. We all want to win a championship. Thought we could with him. But he's a great guy with a great work ethic, who's just a really good human being, who I think is generally misunderstood and not, people say, oh, the guy likes to have fun. And so, do you know him?
Oh, yeah, no, I agree. I think James has always been great. Yeah. And the thing that's interesting about James, even besides him being misunderstood, because I agree, is he weirdly gets discounted. Like he did an interview where he was saying that, his time with the Rockets, he completely changed what we think of basketball and how we play basketball. That is true. He very
100%.
much so revolutionized it. But it was immediately met with backlash when he said that. But I don't even know if that's up for debate.
It's not up for debate. And I can tell you, even in Philadelphia, he worked knowing that, Joel is such an incredible, talent. He really tried to work to change his game to fit in better. And, that's part of he's a guy who's willing to sacrifice, whether it was taking less money in Philadelphia, whether it was the way he's played. He's definitely not one who's ever going to split the tab. He's always paying the tab.
Yeah, he's always paying the tab.
For sure.
James is great. What emotion would you feel if the Sixers moved to New Jersey?
Wouldn't be a good one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that at all. I mean, it is called the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah. So when you saw the news that could potentially happen, what's the first thought you have? What do you do?
Well, I don't do anything because I'm not involved with the team anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, you're a fan.
Yeah, look, I hope for the right outcome, and I hope that, look, I think it's been, in fairness, it's been a brutal situation for the ownership group because they worked very hard on the first venue, thought they were going to get done, didn't get done. They've been working very hard on this venue, and it hasn't got done yet. So I think they're in this 4 years already. So I think when someone wants to go spend whatever it is, $1.5 billion, $2 billion to build a venue, and they're fighting with everyone to get it done, it's tiring. I think one of the things you don't want to do is put the team in a bad situation where someone then comes with some crazy deal and it makes it hard not to do it. But to me, the team's called the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah. Philly fans did not enjoy that report when it came out, rightfully so. I totally get it.
I definitely, when I saw that, said, thank God I'm not involved. Thank God this isn't my problem.
Yeah, you're like, I'll leave them to it.
I'm rooting for you guys all behind the scenes. Good luck.
But this is not my life anymore. I love that. How did the Larry O'Brien trophy end up at the white party?
So talk about another moment where you get a hard time for just your friends. So to me, and I know you will agree with me 1,000%, when you're in the business, you're in the sports business, you root for your friends. You root for the people that you care about. You root for the people you're close with, the people that you do business with. It's a little bit more of a business than it is, Sixers are always my team. But when the Sixers were out of it, I actually rooted for the Knicks next. You know why? Because the Knicks were best for business. Okay, Knicks are a great market, and people are like, well, how could you be rooting for the Knicks after they just beat the Sixers? Because they were better for business. Now the Celtics are in the NBA Finals, and Wick, who owns the team, called and said, hey, I'd love for you and your daughter to come sit next to me in Game 5. Okay, I was honored that he asked me to sit with him, and he's my real friend, and I've been friends with him for a long time. So I remember Mayor, who runs our PR, actually reached out to me. Said,
shout out to Mayor.
Yeah, shout out to Mayor. He said, don't look at Twitter today because you're being torched. I'm like, for what? He's like, for going to a Celtics game and rooting for them. I'm like, by the way, I'm friends with Jason Tatum. I'm friends with Wick. They asked me to come with my daughter. My daughter loves basketball. We went to the game. Like, if people can't understand, we're not, like, it wasn't like I was rooting for the Celtics against the Sixers, which in that case, I would hope nothing but the worst for the Celtics.
Yeah, you didn't have on a Celtics hat and like a Tatum jersey.
Yeah. So, but I was rooting for them because my friend owns the team and my friend's the star of the team. Yeah. And so once they won and Wick and his wife were coming to the white party, there were jokes between Jason, who wasn't
able to come.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There were jokes about someone's got to bring the trophy. And so Rick brought the trophy. It was a giant hit at the party, by the way.
Oh, it was such a hit.
People had a blast.
Is that actually the Larry
It was the actual trophy, yeah. Now, by the way,
wow.
I actually say this funny because I saw Meek was holding the trophy. I'm like, yo, put that down. Don't hold that trophy. You're going to get killed for holding that trophy. He's like, no, this is cool.
No, it was so cool.
Yeah.
So
you see, I didn't hold it, though.
You did not.
Because I've learned through social pressure in the last year, I've caved a little bit to before I just be my normal, like, bantering self. And, like, I think I should have, like, taken it and thrown it in the ocean as a joke or something. Seeing if some shark would have eaten it.
But so Wick just comes into the party like, I'm a champ, and is just holding the trophy.
And by the way, it aged well. Like, he crushed it in there.
Oh, yeah. No, that is so cool. But, I mean, honestly, if I won that, I would never put it down. It would go everywhere with me.
You know the funny thing? If I won it, I put it down the same day and say, how do I get next?
That's good.
Because I don't ever look back. I'm always looking forward.
Yeah. Well, then, are you able to at least appreciate your accomplishments when they happen?
No.
When's the last time you appreciated an accomplishment?
I think to appreciate accomplishment, you have to stop, breathe, take it in.
Yeah.
I never do that because I'm always going from one thing to another. There's never a day when I'm not scheduled, 14, 16 hours where I'm not always behind the things I want to do. And so I think I don't really get the time to do that. Even in I'm going to Europe with my family in next week. But even with that, then you're going to put all your energy into your family.
Yeah.
And even I'll still be working. I'll still get screamed at to put my phone down 17 times per day. Even my 4-year-old now screams at me. Like, Romy's like, Dad, put your phone down. Because she hears it from my 18-year-old and from Camille. So, like, I'm literally, even though I'm always trying to sneak the phone in every second, I'll still be taking shit like crazy.
You know what, kind of scares me about the thought of winning a championship? And also, because I've heard players say this to me before, nothing feels as good as the first championship.
Well, I mean, I think Tommy's 7th probably felt pretty good.
It probably felt pretty good. But I don't know if anything beats that first one.
Look, for me, I can tell you, I'm driven in each business we're in. I want to figure out how to innovate for the fan as much as possible. And by the way, in certain places we've done great, in other places we haven't. But we are relentlessly focused on how to enhance the fan experience in everything we do. And I can tell you that for me, winning is what's my dream for Fanatics in 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And we have so much work to do to accomplish that. But that's what drives me every second of every day is feeling like we're not good enough. We have so much work to do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, wrapping up in a minute, but I do want to ask you about this because it was amazing. So when Caitlin Clark was drafted, her jersey became the best-selling jersey of any athlete in any sport on draft night. How significant was that day for Fanatics?
It was a big moment in sports because for decades you've heard about women's sports is coming. Mm-hmm. And how many times have you heard women's sports is coming?
A lot.
It's not coming anymore. It arrived in a big way. And so what she's done for the WNBA, what the WNBA is doing right now, it's truly extraordinary. I mean, I was just talking to Adam Silver about this a few weeks ago. I think the Liberty, New York Liberty sold for $10 million-ish, maybe $10 or $20 million 5 years ago. Tell you someone would pay $200 million for that, $300 million for that. So if you look at the appreciation in women's sports, it shows you how much it's arrived. And for us, that just represents more growth and more opportunity. So I love it. I love, doing, trading cards of different, WNBA stars and different, I look at Juju Watkins and, she's an important athlete to Fanatics and goes to USC where my daughter's going to. So shout out to USC. I love it. I think it's a big, big opportunity. It's no longer something we're going to talk about when it's here in a big way.
For sure. And I was going to actually ask about Juju Watkins because I also think, what does the future of the W look like, especially when you have such great stars coming up like Juju, like Paige?
I think it looks really exciting because now finally you've got so much fan interest. The teams don't need to make money in the near to midterm. What they need to do is just grow their fan base, grow their viewership, grow their passion. I think they're doing that in a big way. When I look at, I didn't see the exact numbers, but we just did the WNBA All-Star game this weekend. I think the merchandise sales were up 5 or 10 times over last year. That shows how much excitement there is. So I think if you own a WNBA team right now, you're really excited.
Yeah. I mean, the future looks amazing. Obviously, it's been built by all of the women that have played in that league since its inception. It's just really great to see that all the work that they put in is really coming to a point
Even
right
more
now.
exciting is to see people that couldn't make any money from marketing deals. And now you look at Nike doing, I bet you some of the, I'm guessing that if you look at Caitlin's deal, it might be the 10th best NBA deal they have. If you look at against all basketball, it'd probably be, it'd be a top deal. So, I mean, a real commitment from Nike to her. And I think you're seeing that across, all brands now getting into it in a pretty big way. So I think the dollars flowing into the WNBA and women's sports, it's just starting, but it's here in a real way.
Well, next time I see you will be at Fanatics Fest. And something I'm very excited about is the 40/40 Club basically reopening right there. Tell me about that and just how iconic it is that is even happening at the inaugural Fanatics Fest.
It's a pretty special moment. So a lot of people may not know, Jay is actually my partner in the Fanatics Sportsbook. He's an owner of the Fanatics Sportsbook. And Jay is talk about just incredible brand builders, marketers. He's as special as it gets. And talk about a guy we hadn't talked about that I've learned so much from over the years. It's Jay-Z. And so we were sitting down a month ago and talking about, look, the reality is FanDuel, DraftKings, and Fanatics all have a pretty great app. And by the way, we only launched in September. And I think when we launched, our product wasn't good. Our product is really good now. Mm-hmm. Our product is really, and we see that in all the fan feedback that we get. So I think you have 3 really good products. And I think they're much better than everybody else. The 3 between FanDuel, DraftKings, and Fanatics. I think there's 3 really good products. I think the economics for big gamblers are pretty similar between the 3 companies. Mm-hmm. What we have to really differentiate it is what we can kind of do from an experiential perspective. And so, if you look at the way Jay built Ace of Spades, the way he built Doucet, or the way he built Rockaware, it's very authentic. And Jay said, look, 40/40 is such an authentic brand. Why don't we do a pop-up, a replica of that? And I only want to make it available to the 200 athletes that come through Fanatics Fest for them and their families, and for the most important, CEOs of our partners, and your most important / our most important Fanatics VIP gamblers. And so, it's going to be such a curated and tight group that so many people are going to say, how do I get into this thing? But the only way to get into this thing is to be a very special, Fanatics VIP, whether you're one of those 200 athletes that we appreciate coming out for us, whether you're one of our most important, VIPs, or somebody who's really special to Jay or myself. And so, while there could be, close to 100,000 people at this festival, there's not going to be, this will be measured in hundreds for the amount of people that are in the 40/40 pop-up that will be dead in the middle of Fanatics Fest. Yeah. And by the way, I think Jay's expected to be there. He's excited about this. He keep, I got a text from him an hour ago. He's designing the hoodies that we're going to put in there as of an hour ago. I just got a text. And he's sending me 5 different things.
I'm a medium, Jay-Z.
we got you. I mean, by the way, Jay's attention to detail is insane. And he's literally this morning, very early, said, hey, here are 5 products. We got to do this. Here's the colors I want them in. So I love that. You love to see people like that are hands-on, that just want to make sure that everything is exactly the way you'd imagine it from a brand perspective.
How are you and Jay-Z similar, and how are you different?
Well, we're different in a lot more ways because he's athletic. He has, he's an incredible performer. And he's actually got a more balanced, he's got a more balanced life. Yeah. I think where we're similar is our desire to win. His desire to win is insane. I think you see that. They say, what's the common trait of people who win big? most people don't get it by luck. I mean, sometimes you can be just pure athletically talented, okay? I don't know anything about that, okay? But, you know,
But also, too, I think even more than work ethic, it is that, but it's also discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline is really hard.
Yeah, and by the way, some of these guys are some of the most disciplined people I know. Like Jay-Z and Tom Brady are two of the most disciplined people I know in everything that they do. So, you know, look, I can tell you, I even think about, I've told the story a few times, but I remember I was sitting with Jay and little baby a few years ago, and we were talking about, you know, we own lids, and we were talking about that business, and Jay's saying, like, Michael, you're not thinking about headwear the right way. Like, it's part of your wardrobe. Like, you get up, you put on your jeans, you put on your hoodie, you put on your sneakers and your hat. That's part of it. And he's like, you're thinking about this as like an add-on. It's not an add-on. It's part of your, you know, kind of what you wear is part of your wardrobe. And like, these guys, it's amazing how ahead of things they've been. Like, when they've seen trends before they happen, they really understand these things. So, you know, I'd say there's more different about Jay and I than the same, but the part that's the same is the absolute desire to win, and also win the right way. Jay's a guy who always wants to win the right way. I also want to win the right way. There's no taking shortcuts by either of us.
Absolutely. Okay, I know that every single event at Fanatics Fest is can't miss. But if you had to say the one that you were just most excited about is the most can't miss, tell the people. And
Well,
you can't say you and Travis.
No.
Okay.
I wasn't going to say Trav and I. If there was to say one event, I think it's going to be some of the crazy things that happen in the middle of this. That, like, I just know, like, Tom Brady's throwing passes to, you know, a ton of young kids for half an hour. Like, something great's going to happen with that. Or I think it's some of the athletic things that happen in there. It won't be, I'll tell you what it won't be. It won't be some really bad athletic moment for myself, like a repeat of my pitching skills. I think it's really going to be about the people that are there and the things that happen organically within Fanatics Fest. And we love those moments.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real. We love the break the internet moments that we could create there. So those are going to be the best moments for sure.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the things that are prepared. It's going to be the things that happen organically.
Totally. I mean, you know this, but you have been able to build such a good community, not just in your own vacuum like community in a silo, but the community with Fanatics, and the fact that you'll be able to bring everybody together and something that has genuinely never been done before. I think it's really hard to be a part of a first, but it's like such an honor to do something first. So major congratulations on the fact that this is happening and that it's going to be as big and as grand as I know it will be.
Well, one, I appreciate the kind words.
Of course.
Two, we haven't done anything yet.
But it's coming.
But we're
August
gonna
16th
but
through
you know
18th.
we're gonna work our asses off to make sure that each fan who comes through there says this was like the best, like I just had a great experience. That's, if you ask me what my test is, it's because I'm going to be there before the show opens every day until after it closes every day. And I'm going to be asking everyone, what do you like? What do you not like? What can we do better? Like to make sure we make this as special as possible. I will not be running the 40-yard dash against anybody. I've been warned medically that I'll probably likely to try out do myself and like tear an ACL or something. So that won't happen. I hope for no injuries of any key athletes there.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Knock on wood someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Right
There
here.
you go. Exactly.
I love that. Michael, I love you. Thank you so much for coming and doing this. Long overdue, but I'm happy we got it done.
Terrell, I love you more, and congrats on everything you've done.
Thanks so much, Michael. I appreciate you.